Hey everyone, this is Scott Johnson with Pitt Home Buyers here. Just wanted to kind of give you some commentary on this article that we wrote up. Because I wanted to kind of clear some things up and just kind of make it fit a little bit better. So the title of the article is 5 Reasons It's Better to Work with a Real Estate Investor Than a Real Estate Agent here in Greenville. Now, we're not saying real estate agents are bad by any means. I mean, they are a fantastic source. What we're going to do is just kind of give you some idea on your options, because home buyers are not an option that most people know about. And if you're in a certain situation, we can be your best option. All right. So the first reason is going to be to save you time. Now, when you're working with a realtor, like I actually did in our Facebook post a little while ago, the main kind of system you go through is talk to a realtor, clean up your property or get it ready, list the property on the MLS, show it, then you close, and yada yada. Now, the closing process, right now in this market, the actual process, when you throw a property up there, it's freaking gone. As long as it's within a certain parameter, it's pretty much gone. And now it's actually increased to where the properties that are up to $250,000 are rolling like crazy. Okay? But when you get to that closing process, a majority of the people who are buying your property are using a bank. Now, I'm sure you understand that when it comes to banks, they don't do things quickly. All right, so the closing process from listing to close can take upwards of 60 to 90 days on average. Now, with a home buyer or an investor, I'm going to use home buyer for the rest of this video because that's what we are. We work with cash. All right, so what that means is that we are able to close quickly and effectively. And let's kind of look at it from a time-saving standpoint. 1, you don't need to prep your property, which we'll talk about in a little while. 2, you do not need to show your property or to market it. And 3, closing is cut down to less than 30 days because, depending on the workload of our closing agent, because we're able to just say, okay, by the way, cash, sign the papers, and we're done. So as soon as the attorney's ready, we're ready. Most of the time you can choose the closing date, but right now, since there's a lot of stuff going on in the market, it all is dependent on the closing agent's availability. Okay, so when it comes down to it, we can close in less than 30 days, sometimes as little as in 2 weeks, just depending on the situation. So we can save you a lot of time when you work with home buyers. Now, selling as is, this is a huge one. If you've sold a property before with a real estate agent, you have to get that property ready to be shown. Okay, so taking down your pictures, because you want it to be kind of neutral. We actually have a post that I'll link to, a neutral post. I'll go ahead and actually put it right below here so you can kind of see take a look at some of the posts I'm talking about. But it kind of like tells you how to set up your property to make sure that it's going to sell faster. People want a neutral. They want to walk in and say, hey, I understand. I feel like I'm living here already. Okay? And if they have your pictures of your grandkids and your dog, probably ain't going to work. But taking down some excess furniture, putting stuff away, it's going to take a decent amount of work on your part to get it ready, right? When we buy as is, and repairs too, if you have to do repairs, home buyers buy as is. What that means is that if there's a repair that needs to be made or your house is in complete garbage condition, maybe you inherited a property and it's been sitting there for 30 years, I'm working with one right now, but it's got like a bunch of errors on it too. But we're really good at working with those. But, we buy it as is. You don't have to do anything for that, which is super, super convenient, all right? Skipping the showings, I talked about that a little earlier. The one showing you do is letting us walk around your property, take a look at it, take some pictures, and letting us analyze it and make you an offer. Our offers we can give you in as little as 24 hours. Sometimes as long as 72 hours. It really just depends. But especially with trailers we have to also contact the DMV inspectors and talk to them prior to making an offer. Okay, peace of mind. Okay, so there's 0 guarantees with listing your property with an agent. Now, obviously, it's a hot market. Like I said, if you list it, it's probably going to sell, but there's no guarantees. On top of that, the property we just bought We actually purchased one ourselves. It's right off of why did I just forget the exit? I can't remember, but it's Whitford Lane. You can actually look up Whitford Lane. That small road there is the property that we bought. It's kind of like a private drive. And, that person had actually had 2 buyers back out on them because they could not qualify for financing. So there's 0 guarantees. So what we did to help them is we said, hey, listen, we can pay this much for the property. She said, okay. We paid cash. We close in 2 weeks, right? I got stuff falling down behind me. It's an open-air farmer's market that I'm at right now at the off of County Home Road. And so it's like wind blowing through, blowing all the stuff down. All right, I digress. Keeping cash in your pocket. This is the final portion of it. So the average commission for a realtor is between 5 and 6%. 5% is normally if the listing agent sells it, then they connect the buyer and the seller, then the commissions are usually less. But when it comes down to it, if you have it listed with one person and another agent brings the buyer, then it's going to be about 6%. Tack on to that the closing costs, which we put on an average of 3%, is what we use in our numbers, so total of 9%. But the cool thing is also, with the keep cash in your pocket, we actually pay the closing costs too. So you don't even have to pay that. Yeah, it's stupid. So now, the situation that you're going to want to talk to a home buyer, you honestly, you always want to talk to a home buyer and say, hey, listen, I want to figure out my options. Can you come look at it? All right, we've had, and if the property is better off being sold on the, on the market, then that's great. But it's a matter of time. If you need to sell your house fast, if you need to get out, let's say we have, people who their family passed away and they live in Georgia, and their family member passed away and left this property to them. They can't do anything with it, so they called us and said, hey, listen, we need you to take a look at it. And so we're going to be looking at it and making them a cash offer. Foreclosure is a big one, too. Foreclosure. Because right now, in the economic climate, a lot of people, right now, the stock market is defying gravity. Okay, I'm not going to go into a huge macroeconomic thing, but this is something that I practice, I learn about all the time. Right now, the stock market is defying gravity. Any form of bad news, it's ignoring and it's continuing to go up with some gyrations, right? Well, so what essentially is happening right now is that people are ignoring the bad news and forgetting that, yes, they paused foreclosures back in March and they paused mortgage payments at the same time, but the foreclosure pause just ended in the middle of this month. And in the middle of next month, guess what else is happening? They're stopping the pause on mortgage payments. All right, so we're going to see a lot of foreclosures coming down the line. Stack that with the lockdown where businesses couldn't be open. Right now, even small businesses that are actually, their restaurants are open, they cannot sell. Let me put it this way. 80% is the capacity that a restaurant needs to be at to be profitable and stay in the break even, okay? Right now, they're 50% and below. All right, and the online orders from the ones I've talked to do not make up for it, but they're chugging along as best they can. We're going to see a lot of bankruptcies coming down the line, a lot of closed businesses, which then will stack in foreclosure. Now, if you miss one payment, call us. We are your best resource to keep that foreclosure off of your credit. If you want to stay in the home, you need to, there's certain things the state does that can help you with that. We can give you that information. But if you're planning on leaving that home, then you need to contact us because we can keep that off your credit. All right. So this is a longer video than I usually do. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, just reach out, let us know. You can also click open on YouTube right down here, and it'll actually bring you over to YouTube. You can put comments, anything like that. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.